Welcome to MindBody TV. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I'm going to be sharing something really powerful here today that pertains to everyone about joy and what we think about joy. What is the actual frequency of joy? Because it is an energy frequency. It has an effect on our cells. It has an effect on our health. It has an effect on our digestion, our immune system, the way we think. And it's not what most people think it is. In fact, trying to be joyful is really going to keep you away from joy. And I have a really powerful story about how I have allowed myself to be in more and more of a state of joy. So, welcome. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from in the world. I am so grateful we have this global audience and so many people who are interested in taking responsibility for their state of being, taking responsibility for their conscious creatorship. And I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from or how you found our community. I know there are a lot of new people, so I'll just share a little bit about why I created MindBody TV and why I'm doing what I'm doing as a physician. So, been a physician for many years, and before I became an emergency medicine physician in the allopathic system, I had had so many experiences that kind of awakened me to the mind body connection, that our thoughts are creating what's happening in our body, in our brain, in our experiences, and our physiology. And I was really inspired to go and become a doctor and learn more about how to apply this, how to share what is really happening, what's really at the source, the core root of what's causing physical disease, and how we can resolve that in a whole different way than only giving medications or doing surgery or doing external physical things. Those are awesome. Of course, I'm on board for all of the above. I had a C-section with my first child. I worked as an ER doctor in trauma and critical care medicine for years and hugely see the value of the allopathic approach. However, it's not meant to be the whole gamut for everyone and everything. In fact, it's meant to be about 15% to handle the issues that are coming up. The other 85+% is not the same kind of a physical issue causing the physical problem. There's actually an energetic issue or an emotional issue or something going on in your system, memories, traumas, lineage patterns that will create and generate inflammation in the body that lead to physical disease. And it's not that you don't put a Band-Aid on or take a medication, a pain, Advil, but you've got to then also look at what's actually going on. What do you need, body? What's happening here? And to address things on a deeper level. And so as a physician, I have been able to connect, to see when we're more connected with our own body, sensing, feeling, being a receiver, we can really easily see what's really going on for someone else. And so when I was in the ER, seeing people and knowing, oh, here's what's really behind that abdominal pain, or here's what's really behind that lupus, or here's what's really going on with that chronic injury in your knee, and actually help them begin to get a key into resolving the root of what was in that pattern. And it can be so easy once we begin to tune in. And so I created MindBody TV as a way to sort of disrupt this mass thinking that there's only one way, or if I have a physical disease, I have to take a physical medication or do a physical procedure, or, well, this doesn't have any emotional component because I've got a slip disc and it shows on the CAT scan. Well, these things can physicalize. And I'm sure you've heard of so many instances where someone had like a pinched nerve or even a fractured bone that healed really quickly, or something that, like, yeah, the physical thing's there, but they're not having any symptoms. They have 100% function, they're pain-free, and they're living with this discrepancy, or maybe it's healing and it's no longer present. So how come some people, they can't find anything wrong and the person's in tons of pain with tons of dysfunction, while the other people, maybe they find a whole bunch of things of why you shouldn't be healthy, but they have no symptoms and they're vibrantly healthy? So how do we make that shift, and how do we begin to let the body resolve those physical discrepancies. And so what I'm sharing in MindBody TV is really to open the mind so that we can begin to see beyond what we've been shown, beyond what we've learned, beyond what we think is true, because that actually serves like blinders, and we literally cannot let in new information. Do you know anybody like that who you're like, hello, this is really obvious, but they can't let in new information? And so that brings us to today's topic. When we're in certain brain states that are either like, high beta brainwave pattern of beliefs, conclusions, I know this is the way it is, and therefore I know I have to do this and I can't do that, we can't let in new information. And so something may be as clear as day, but until we like gotta turn off the computer to reboot a new program, the brain, the mind-body system will not perceive new information. And sometimes the things we're dealing with just have us keep doubling down on that spin out. I'll just try harder. I'm going to heal myself. But the immune system can't change. The nervous system can't change. The digestive system can't change. Your microbiome can't change till you get out of that programming system, because your nervous system sets the stage for everything happening in your body. So in the instant elevation tool, the ABC tool, I've shared how do you become aware, shift your physiology, and begin making conscious choices. Oh, here's what I could do. You actually start to see and perceive things you didn't see before. You have neuroplasticity. Your brain can change. So it doesn't matter how long you've had clinical depression or chronic anxiety or panic or a severe autoimmune disease, or fill in the blank with the illness that maybe you've been told will never or can never resolve. You always want to go to what's actually possible here. Show me. And that takes an openness. So you come into like a lower beta brainwave functioning, or even an alpha brainwave functioning, which is a slower brainwave state. Meditation can help you move into that, but also just mindfulness, or if you're practicing the instant elevation technique, that is what it's designed for, and lets your system let in a whole new awareness that didn't occur to you before. And this is really how you change your life. The neuroplasticity is enhanced, your brain can change even more quickly, and you can shift out of these patterns that create chronic disease. Okay, so what does that have to do with joy? Everything is a vibration and frequency. If we're in that fear, clamping down, I've got to just keep going, and then I'll finally let go, and I'll finally retire, or I'll finally, enjoy myself. It can't happen. You've got to practice your system into the embodiment of joy. It's a frequency. And so we do in my house the word of the week. Every Sunday, someone pulls it out of the hat. And it's this big, whose is it? Because everyone's written them. We throw them in there, and we have, a 6-year, is he 6? He's 6, and a 11-year-old, and they're so excited. Oh, it's mine. It's my word that got picked. But we also do this contest of who is the best at embodying this week's word, or last week's word when we pick the new one. So this week, last week, it was joy. And I immediately knew, ding, 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 I'm going to win this. And it wasn't just because it's nice to have joy and yeah, I'm going to have joy. I'm going to practice that joy. It was because I was aware I had cultivated enough surrender to let even more joy in. See, a lot of people think this mind body stuff is about being positive. I'm only going to think positive. I'm just going to feel joy. And like, there's no surer way to push joy away, true joy away, than to be attached to it, than to try, than to just be positive, because you're actually rejecting the quote negative. Oh, so I've been through an amazing journey in the last year to really keep my heart open despite something happening that was, I felt like I was being attacked. It was a very, like a low frequency experience with something that was happening in my life that was really, really challenging for me. And letting go, letting go, letting go. throughout the course of this, honoring my fear, honoring my anxiety, honoring where I felt betrayed, where I was like incredulous. How could this be happening to me? Honoring where I felt like a victim. And all the while holding a space, because I'm going to show you what the key is of this key that allowed me to honor where I felt like a victim, where I felt attacked, where I felt so angry, where I felt so, how could this person do this to me? Victimy, everything. And if we can cultivate this key, we can hold space for everything. And so I knew when joy was the one pulled out of the hat, I said, I've got this. I'm ready to step into more joy. And so what we have to remember is, and I have the scale of consciousness right here for you. So there are many people who have shared work like this, kind of showing that our state of consciousness, our state of being is a scale. We can be in these heightened states of joy, love, oh, just complete peace. We can be in these lower states of fear, anger, grief, shame. Now, one of the things that people do with this is I've got to climb the ladder. I'm going to climb to a higher state. And that's awesome, right? Because we can, if you're way down here in fear, you could reach up to anger. It's a higher state than fear. Granted, you're like, don't just stay angry. It'll deteriorate your liver and your heart and holding that energy in. No, but can you move through it? So yeah, it will bring you out of fear into like, wait a minute, this is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. And you get more energy. However, there can be a lot of attachment as we move up the scale. I've written a lot about this in my upcoming book, Be Your Own Healer, which is coming out this fall. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed at drkimd.com. But when we are in attachment, we can't climb anywhere. The other thing we're doing is we're resisting the one we're at. So what you resist persists. I don't want to be in fear. I want to be in joy. I don't want to be angry. I want to be happy. Yeah, so what you resist persists. So you're sort of like buying yourself. You're making it impossible. So what do you do? How do we fluidly move up the scale? Well, the lowest frequency that can be embodied in human form is shame. When you're in shame, you'll not only feel really heavy, lethargic, loathsome, you will have thoughts of, oh, I can't believe I did that. I shouldn't have done that. I'm so wrong. It's wrong that I did this. Now I'm stuck. Everything will feel wrong and seem wrong. And your mind, I just poked myself in the eye. Your mind will tell you it's true and show you, right? Because life is a reflection of the frequency and consciousness you're in. So it's going to show you, yep, you're right. You screwed up and, oh, you worthless person. How could you even think? Blah, 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 blah. So this can come up sometimes a layer of shame anytime we're moving forward in our life. So if you're like, yeah, I'm ready for more joy, shame might say, yeah, right, you're not worth it. You remember you did this thing or you're that thing, and it will ignite all the places where you believed you don't deserve it or there's something wrong with you. So you just gotta, I'm gonna give you the key. Like, how do we transcend this? It's not just about climbing up the scale or getting into attachment or being in a better place instead of the one I'm in, which is resistance and rejection of where I'm at. What you resist persists. If you're rejecting where you're at, I'm telling you, it's not going to go anywhere. We come up to fear. Oh no, what am I going to do? Anger, pride. Yes, I'm a winner. I can do this. But there's attachment, there's identity. It's not really joy. Now, this is a major inflection point. I'm going to draw a line here where we access way more power. Okay, these two pieces. We actually lose a lot of power in these lower frequencies. We consume more energy than we're generating. So we'll be depleted. Our body eventually will get sick and diseased. It'll start to break down. Now, that can take years or decades, and people might say it's the normal aging process. That's what happens after you hit whatever 50 years old. Yeah, no, it's not. It's the timeline being in frequencies that are consuming more of your energy than you are generating. There's a huge section on this in a course we did an event in Dallas a few years ago called the Mind Body Awakening. And there's a huge piece on this and how do you move through this. So I'm going to give you a little nugget on that right here today. But I will also share the link if you'd like to purchase that series, because we did a huge induction on the Friday evening and that was recorded. That was so powerful to open your energy centers, to allow higher intelligence in. You can't create your more expansive life from the energy you already have in your system, or like you would have done it by now. You've got to open your energy centers, your brain, to allow higher intelligence to come in. And I promise you, if you've been in like rock and a hard place, there's no way out, I don't know what to do, that is the path that allows the higher intelligence. You're already connected with it. Call it divinity. You can call it whatever you would like. You've got to open because you've got free will. You could keep the unconscious closure. I got to just find the answer. It will not show up. It doesn't exist in the realm you're functioning in. When you open, you let in that celestial guidance. You let in the literal miracles. You let in the divine life force that created you, and it will show you the way. So anyway, that's a little bit down the path, but that's in that Dallas event we did. If you would like to purchase that to do that course, it's so even just the Friday night induction to open your energy will change your life. So I will include the link for that here. It's at drkimd.com/awakening event if you would like the program. Anyway, let's get back to joy. So these are the two major inflection points. We can be in these lower frequency densities for like decades, or even if we jump up and down the scale, I feel good, but it's kind of like in there, you're resisting it on some level, it's not fully resolved. You're going to keep carrying that. All right, when we come up to courage, which is I'm willing to choose something I don't already understand. I'm willing to let something in that maybe doesn't already make sense or I can't control. So fear is based in control. I got to control things. I got to make sure. Yeah, because you're holding fear. So you might be managing that fear by like clamping down, staying in control, being hyper vigilant. It's costing you. And when you start realizing how much it's costing you, you have the courage to let go. Let go, but everything will fall apart. Yeah, that's what courage is. What happens when we have courage is we literally open the energy center of the heart so we can begin to let in higher intelligence, higher resources, really like miracles and shifts that happen on our behalf. Can't happen until you open. And so willingness is the next inflection point. It's higher up the scale. Again, there's different scales people are working with. Esther Hicks has one that she has channeled through the consciousness of Abraham. David Hawkins, who is a genius physician, he's passed on now, but that I have learned from, and his work has radically just been the huge foundation for what I'm doing in my work, to understand the frequency and the scale of consciousness. So very similar sort of approach. Okay, anyway, willingness is where we open even further, even though I don't understand, even though this certainly is, there is fear here. It's not like willingness, you get in these higher levels, I have no fear now. No, it's I'm willing to open beyond this fear. I'm willing to open beyond my attachment or pride. I'm willing to open even though I feel so angry and I want to contract. And so willingness allows us to do something that these lower frequencies say we can't do. And this is where the creative power comes in. Now, how does this tie in to my experience of joy, which I did win the word of the week, by the way? Who was the embodiment of joy this week? Mommy! And I was so grateful because I could feel, yeah, it's true. I have made space for way more joy in my life. And in a way, it's like I earned it, but I just opened. I opened to let go of fear that I've held since I was a tiny kid and didn't even know I was holding until this crazy incident happened a year ago and really shocked the crap out of me. I realized, whoa, this stirred up a level of survival fear that was from like a long time ago and had nothing to do with this incident. So will I receive that? Will I say yes to that? Will I embrace that? Will I let my system digest, process, and poop out what isn't mine? Yes. And so because of that, there's more space in my system for joy. So what is the key? Because I said it's not about being positive. It's not about trying to have joy, just focusing on joy. It's actually, and this was a major key I shared in the Dallas event. And I went a lot deeper into all of this in there. If you'd like the program, I will share it with you. But mm, mm, it's something we can call grace. Grace, and if your name is Grace, welcome to MindBody TV. If you know someone named Grace, let me know, give her a shout out. Grace is something where I'm willing to open no matter what's going on. I'm willing to be not attached to feeling joy. Oh, here I am. I'm feeling anger. Damn, I'm not going to win the word of the week. Opening to be willing to feel everything you feel, because that is actually, these higher states are your nature. You are love. You are peace. You are joy. Your nature is joy and peace. Well-being. That's why health gets restored. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to earn it. When you're in grace with whatever is here, it allows your system to transmute the energy, because you are a transmuter. Your energy, your body, your organs, the energy centers in your body are actually doing something as you move through the world. And so are they open, digesting, resolving, instilling a sense of grace so that you can just solve whatever comes? You walk through Walmart, there's a whole bunch of negative energies, but is your system in resistance where they're pinging on, ooh, little kernel of shame I've shoved under the rug that's been hiding in there, a little bit of fear where I'm actually still living like I'm a victim, anger, whatever is in there that I was unconscious of. And then I move through the world and it all gets triggered, right? So I could double down on victimhood. Oh God, I've got to clear this. Oh no, I'm picking up others' negative energy. It's not what's actually happening. It's pinging on the spaces and places in me where I unconsciously maybe still believe I'm a victim, still believe I have to fight, still don't see or experience that I'm love and that it's all okay. And so I can move through the world with grace, and whatever energies move through, I am in the heightened state of well-being. That's where true health comes from. So even just 2% dissolution, which we did a lot on this because in the Dallas weekend, I worked with people live in their body, and the work we do to transmute that energy of fear, a lot of it was fear, anger, and yeah, major doses of shame. For that person, you'll do the exercise along with them and it will transmute in you. Even if you're like, yeah, I don't relate to that. I'll just, zone out for this one and get to the next one. And you're like, oh my gosh, this hit home in places I hadn't imagined, because what's coming up, these energies are universal. So for one person, it might be, I had this horrible car accident, or I got this job I hate, or when I was young, I was traumatized. And you're like, I don't relate to any of those circumstances. But guess what? These energies are universal. You'll feel them and you'll feel your body releasing them as you do the exercises. So for those of you in the Embracing Health program, you're experiencing this firsthand. Stay tuned. It's gonna continue. And for those of you who would like to participate and have that event where we did this, I have shared the link for that here, so you can go through that with your body to open your systems and let these energies go. All right, so I have learned joy is not about a static thing. I'm joy, I'm joy, I'm joy. It's more about grace that allows me to be in this space of my nature: peace, love, joy, well-being, flow, harmony. That's your nature. But soon as you open, you got to clear out what's there first that's in the way of you experiencing more joy. And so could you let every trigger be an invitation to grace? Right? Because this grace, that state of opening, despite what's happening, despite what I'm feeling, despite what I think about it, I really should protect myself. I shouldn't be so vulnerable, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, and the events and circumstances. These are the conditions we put on our well-being and on our abundance. And we don't need to. We could unconditionally stay open and embrace grace. So we move through whatever's here and we return to joy. All right. How does that resonate? Have you had that experience yourself where you're like, yeah, I want to be positive, but then there's like this attachment, or yeah, I want to climb the scale, but oh, I'm still feeling this anger. So that's what it is. It's like what you resist persists. Have grace with yourself, and I promise you, you will access your power. You will move through life so much more smoothly. You will transmute these energies. You are a healing power. That healing power is within you, and that's really what allows the body to live free from disease. Thank you for tuning in. I'm at drkimd.com. We have programs. We have my upcoming book, which is going to be launched. We'll have a pre-sale for that, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed at drkimd.com. If you'd like to go further with this work, we will include links here below. Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you. We're in the MindBody community on Facebook. Our coaches are standing by to assist you with questions that you may have about this. So lots of love to everyone. We'll be here every week for MindBody TV at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesdays. You can tune in on my YouTube channel at Dr. Kim Duramo or in the MindBody community and Facebook. All right, from my heart to yours, so much love. I'll see you soon. And so much joy. Thank you for tuning in to MindBody TV. I would love to hear from you. Post a comment with any question, insight, aha, or just to say hello. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button so you stay tuned for weekly episodes. I'll see you next week.